Okay, now we're in the home stretch of section 1.4, and we're going to go ahead and work on something a little more complex, but it's actually pretty simple, so let's try to keep it as simple as we can, especially when we see our problems. Let's not get too confused. So example A asks us to combine like terms in the following expressions. The number one rule for combining like terms is they have to have the same variable, the exact same order, which means power, and the exact same actual variable. You see, in this case, we have an x is our variable, our 4 is a coefficient, here our variable is x, our coefficient is 15. We don't really care about the coefficients. What we really care about is the actual variable itself. The variables have to be identical, and here they are, just an x. So that means we can combine the two values, and the way we combine the two values is once we see that the variables are the same, we just have to perform the operation to the coefficients. So in this case, yep, we double check that the variables are okay, the exact same. So let's just go ahead and combine the coefficients the way it tells us, and it's 4x plus 15. Let's go ahead and ignore the x's for now because they're the same. We get 4 plus 15, and we know 4 plus 15 is 19. Now the last thing we need to do is, we know that they had a coefficient or a variable of x. We just have to add that to the end. So 4x plus 15x is equal to 19x. This is our answer. Let's go ahead and look at a subtraction case. Very, very similar. What we have to do is make sure that the variable is exactly the same. And we see we have a variable of a. We also have a variable of only a on this side. So all we have to do is execute the operation that tells us on the coefficients. So we have 7a minus 2a. Since the variables are identical, we just have to perform 7 minus 2, and that's 5. Again, since the variable is exactly the same, we just have to bring that down, and it's copied into our answer. So 5a is our answer. It's kind of like saying I have 7 quarters, and I take 2 quarters away, I have 5 quarters left. So if you ever get stuck, just remember that you can take quarters away from quarters, but if this was nickels, it'd be kind of hard to do. Example 9 deals with simplifying by grouping and combining like terms. So when we say grouping, what we like to do is use the commutative and the associative properties to put things next to each other that we know we can add and subtract very easily. So one rule I like to always do is look at my expression and find the first term I'm working with, and it's a 7x. That's my first term. We see there's 4 terms, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So my first term is a 7x. I like to go through and rewrite this 7x, and then rewrite and cross it out so I know I've used it. And then I like to go through and find all the other terms that have the same variable. 5, there's no variable here, so that's not a like term. 3x, ooh, that also has an x, the same variable, the same power, it looks exactly the same. So I'm going to use this guy. So I circle it, and I set to plus 3x, so I say plus 3x. We've used it, let's cross it out. Are there any other x's? Nope. So let's go ahead and say, okay, this part is complete. We've got all our x's in here. Now let's find our second term to start with over here. It's a plus 5. So we start with plus 5. And now we go through and we cross that out because we use it, and we find any other constant terms. Well, we do find one. We see we have a plus 8. Let's go and add that plus 8. Now we go to add a parentheses here. And now we perform the operation. From above, we see that we have 3x, or 7x plus 3x. Since the variables are exactly the same, we just have to perform the operation on the coefficients. 7 plus 3 is 10x. Okay, we still have that plus sign in the middle of these terms, and then we know that we have 5 plus 8. We know that they both have the same variable, which is no variable in this case. 5 plus 8 is 13. So now we have solved that problem. We can perform the same one here. I'm going to go a little faster, but it's a very similar thing. We see we start with a 4x. I like to circle my first one and rewrite with my first one 4x. Cross it out because we used it. Are there any other x's? Nope, that's a y. Hey, this is an x plus 2x. Okay, once I've rewritten, I cross it out so I don't confuse. And that's it for the x's. Now let's go back and circle the next term. Oh, it's the plus 7y. So we say plus 7y. Cross it out, or then near the y's, you got it, plus 3y over here. And again, from combining like terms above, we see that 4x plus 2x is equal to 6x. And then we see that there's a plus sign right there in between. We have a 7y plus 3y, that's equal to 10y. And that is our answer here. The last two examples are going to be simplifying using algebraic expressions. So the first thing we see here is this is going to be distributive because there's no plus in between the number here and our parentheses. So we have to distribute the 5. So 5 distributed to the 3x, this makes that 15x plus the 5 distributed to the 7 is 35. Now we don't distribute to the 6 because it's not inside the parentheses, so we just have to say plus 6. Now we combine like terms. There's only one x here, and that's going to be 15, so let's rewrite the 15x. Circle that, and that's done. And we combine just the constants. 35 plus 6 is 41. And that's our answer. 15x plus 41. Over here, we just have to use the distributive property again. We see that the 6 is right next to the parentheses. Let's go ahead and distribute that. 6 times 2x is 12x. Plus, we see there's a plus sign next. 6 times 4y is 24y. We see there's a plus. Then we have to distribute again. We have to distribute the 10 to whatever's in these parentheses now. So 10 times 4x is 40x. Plus, there's a plus here, 10 times 3y. That's plus 30y. Now let's go and combine like terms. We see we have 12x up here, and we have a 40x over here. So let's go ahead and rewrite those. 12x plus 40x parentheses. We know this is a plus. We got now our next, so let's cancel those out. We see our next term is going to be y, as we have a 24y, a plus 24y, and a plus 30y. So plus 24y plus 30y. Now we can go and just perform our operations. So again, all I did is distribute. Now I grouped, and now I'm going to go ahead and simplify everything. 12x plus 40x is 52x. Plus sign in the middle. 24y plus 30y is 54y. And that's it. So this should let you finish all the problems in section 1.4. If you have any questions, feel free to post on the discussion board. Good luck.